whole bunch. Whole bunch.
How does a guy on your budget recover from something like this? You just save a little harder and spend a little less elsewhere, or what?
We figure it out. I don't know, we have to come up with it somehow.
Are there any of these parts that can be saved that we're tumbling down the racetrack?
Yeah, a lot of it's salvageable. You know, just it looks a lot worse than it really is.
Well, one thing I can tell after having met you people here today is that you will definitely be back at the next big drag race.
We'll
Nothing's going to keep you away.
No, we'll be there. See ya.
And we'll see you, Tony, because we know you'll be back. The next matchup, quarterfinals. It'll be Jeb Allen going against Marvin Graham, the number 3 and number 4 time qualifiers. Marvin Graham, the former national champion, and he ranks as one of the favorites. Tough competition. Jeb Allen, the quickest driver in the history of this sport. Marvin Graham against Jeb Allen. We've just received a report. There's a problem in one of the other competitors' pits. Steve is there. Let's go to it.
Charlie, here in the pit area, a big crowd around the Candies and Hughes car. His driver, Richard Tharp, started the engine to warm it up and discovered a frozen camshaft bearing. That's something that cannot be fixed in just the few minutes they have, so they're installing a fresh engine. Now, this engine has not been run or tried here this weekend, so who knows? It's anybody's guess how Richard Tharp, the Candies and Hughes car from Louisiana, will fare here in the first round. Can they even make the first round?
And they'll be working against the clock just to make it into the action here. The wife of Jeb Allen as she looks on near the start line.
This has all the ingredients, Charlie, to be a real good drag race. They qualified only a few hundredths of a second apart. Now, Jeb was the quicker of the two, though, in qualifying. He has lane choice. He selected this near lane. Marvin Graham in the far lane.
An even matchup between Graham and Allen.
Both drivers staring at the yellow lights. They get it, and off first is Marvin Graham, but Marvin goes up in smoke. Jeb Allen is going to drive around him, but just barely.
Excellent driving, though, for Marvin Graham. He got squirrely, he almost lost it, and Cindy Allen says, way to go.
Marvin Graham, as you said, Charlie, did a fine job of driving. First, he was off the line instantly. Jeb Allen in a little bit of trouble there until Marvin loses traction. Now, Graham backs off the throttle just enough to dry up that smoke, gets back on the pedal, and goes after Jeb.
But Jeb Allen, the consummate professional, would not be denied as he went on to win and move into the semifinals. Steve's with it.
Jeb Allen, a first-round winner here at the Cajun Nationals. And, Jeb, it ran a 5.99. Did you intentionally go to the line maybe a little soft, worried about the racetrack?
Sure did, Steve. We took a little clutch out of it. Marvin was pulled out there, and, you know, luckily they had an oil down maybe. But we lost the last 2 NHRA races by smoking the tires. And I think, you know, we're a tough customer, and everybody knows that, so we're just trying to play the game a little bit until we can get the horsepower, the curve power worked out on this motor of ours.
Next up, we'll see the man everyone's been waiting for, the fastest qualifier, David Pace. It will be David Pace going against Jody Smart.
Jody Smart came back into the drag racing sport last year after a 10-year layoff and has surprised everyone with his consistency. For David Pace, it's the first time he's qualified on the pole in a long, long career.
David Pace from Louisville, Texas, is the man to beat in the competition today.
Texas currently, Charlie, is a real hotbed of nitromethane drag racing. Some of the best come out of the Lone Star State. Jody Smart from San Antonio believes in running his engine very conservatively, but he may have to step up here against this number 1 qualifier.
And so we have a pair of Texans going head-to-head. Jody Smart, far lane, has the better start of the two, and now he simply runs away with it. Jody has a problem, though. I believe that he lost, yes, he lost the rubber on the left front tire. Steve is down there. We'll see if we can get a report. We haven't seen anything like this all day. There's a good shot of it. Jody's clearly okay. Steve is running over there now to see what happened.
Charlie, Jody Smart is high-centered here on the return road, and as you can see, somewhere on the racetrack, due to the high velocity of this vehicle, the front tire came right off the wheel. We didn't see it come off, but it's obviously gone. And with that couple of inches off the front end and the very low car, the turnaround crew, always very helpful, picks it up trying to help Jody Smart do as little damage as possible. Smart, I'm sure, is not all that concerned about the front tire. He arrived here with the quickest elapsed time we've seen so far in this first round of Top Fuel Racing.
So everything is okay at the end of the drag strip. It's also okay at the beginning. This is Richard Tharp. Now remember, he had to change an engine. He's ready to go. He has another problem, though. He was the slowest qualifier in the field.
Tharp is matched up against former world and national champ Gary Beck.
Gary is also the defending Cajun Nationals champ. 1 year ago here, it was Beck grabbing an early final round lead over Jeb Allen, and a good thing for both of them that he did, as Jeb lost traction, then lost control, darting into Beck's lane. Had they been side by side, a nasty two-car collision could have resulted.
And so Gary Beck went on to win the Cajun National a year ago. And this year he is driving that same blue car. Gary Beck will be in the near lane, Richard Tharp in the far lane.
These two drivers have very similar histories, Charlie. Both have won the World Championship, and both have won the biggest drag race of them all, the U.S. Nationals at Indianapolis. Tharp number 7 in the world last year, Gary Beck number 2, almost winning the Top Fuel World Championship again. They're set and ready. Richard Tharp, far lane, and Gary Beck anticipates the light. He red lights. He is automatically disqualified, and what a break for Richard Tharp.
Richard Tharp driving for Candies and Hughes. That is the only entrant at the quarterfinal level from the state of Louisiana. Gary Beck just coasting down, drawing that red light penalty, meaning disqualification between the yellow and the green. 0.4 of a second. If you go before the green, then you see the red light, and that means that you're out of the race. So Gary Beck heads back to the pits. Richard Tharp will head for the semifinals. He's with Steve.
Richard Tharp, after the pressure of having to install a new engine at the last minute, you needed that little bit of racing luck there with Gary Beck red lighting, give you a chance to put a lap on this motor.
Yeah, well, Steve, you know, we need all the luck we can get. I kind of screwed up a little bit. I didn't get on my high speed, and I think we were on a 6-0 something, but...
What is a high speed?
Well, it's just a thing that leans the car out when you get on down the racetrack, makes it run just a little bit quicker, and I just kind of screwed up a little bit there. And I almost red lighted myself. They held a tree on us an awful long time up there.
With all the tension of having to put in a new engine at the last minute, were you still really mentally ready to leave that starting line, do everything right? You had to be tired.
Yeah, we're tired. Yeah, it's hard, you know, but it just works sometimes it doesn't.
So in the semifinals, it'll be Richard Tharp, who had this easy run to victory against Jeb Allen, Terry Kapp versus Jody Smart. Hello again, this is Charlie Jones and Steve Evans. We're in the capital city of the state of Louisiana, Baton Rouge. And just across the river, the State Capitol Dragway. We're here for the Cajun National Drag Races, and we're set now for the first showdown in the semifinals between the two top drivers in the world.
This is the race the fans came to see, Charlie. The number 1 and number 2 pro stock drivers in all of drag racing. 1 year ago here at the Cajun Nationals, in the final round, it was again Lee Shepard versus Frank Iaconio, also a semifinalist here today. It was Shepard taking the title. In fact, Shepard has made the final round here at the Cajuns 5 consecutive years.
And Lee Shepard will be in the near lane, the same lane that he was in when he won here a year ago, the second time that he's won the Cajun Nationals. Bob Glidden will be in the far lane. He has won here 4 times. These are the only 2 men who have ever won this event.
As they move to the starting line, the fans are sinking hole shot here. Now Shepard, over the past few seasons, has been tough on Glidden. He has left first almost every time they have raced, but not this time. It's Glidden out first.
Glidden with the early lead. And now Shepard tries to close on him, but Glidden has found that horsepower, and he holds him off.
Bob Glidden, one of the few times in his career he has been in the role of the underdog, and he proves that he still knows how to drive a race car.
Here is the key to the race, the hole shot, the quick start. Glidden on the right, timing his start exactly with the green light. He is out 14/100ths of a second quicker than Lee Shepard, and that was the margin that he needed.
Whether Shepard was complacent or just lost his timing on the starting line, who can say, but his little nap has cost him dearly.
Glidden with that horsepower that he has been searching for, he wins it by almost 2 lengths.
Well, the big number 1 on the door says it all. This is the world champion in pro stock, the winningest driver in drag racing history, and the Louisiana fans, Bob Glidden, have gone nuts up there. They recognize the best race of the day when they see it. 8:44 to an 8:45.
Was it that close?
Yeah.
Oh, he had a little of my misfortune for a change. I think maybe he had a problem on the starting line. And the only shot we really had of winning the race was to leave the starting line first. And finally, it happened in my favor.
Well, and you've been criticized for your driving lately, and maybe Lee had a problem, maybe he didn't, but you were off that mark first, and you could have beaten even slower laps time. You had that big a hole shot.
Well, people don't understand that when you're the underdog, you can bring the clutch up a little bit tighter,
Right.
as we did, and you can take that chance. When you've got a margin on someone and take a chance of red lighting, you're just kidding yourself. If you lose by a red light and you're 6/800ths quicker than someone, you're digging your own grave. So today it was a little bit different, and thank God we came out on top for a change.
And now we'll see who'll meet Bob Glidden in the finals. Will it be Andy Manarino or Frank Iaconio? Earlier, Steve talked with Frank.
With your kind of performance, is it tempting to you to kind of look past Andy Manarino, your next opponent, and look to that final with either Glidden or Shepard?
Yeah, you tend to, but I try not to, because that's a bad thing to do. When you do that, it always backfires on you.
That's when they step up and bite you.
Yeah, that's right.
Frank Iaconio's times have been consistently faster than Andy Manarino.
Yes, they have, Charlie. And two totally different personalities here. The very outgoing, energetic Manarino, the very quiet, contained Iaconio.
And another interesting matchup because Manarino has never made a final.
And Iaconio fully expects to get at least this far. He's won a lot of national events. A great start by Andy Manarino.
Iaconio now chasing Manarino. Iaconio on the near side. Can he catch him? Manarino holds him off and wins in the closest race that we've seen today.
Absolutely outstanding drag race.
Now let's go back to the key. It has to be the start. Manarino barely gets the start over Iaconio. And that start is the difference, as they had identical times in the race. And here is that exciting finish as Manarino wins by just under half a car length. Let's go down to Steve. He's with Andy.
Make my first final.
Andy Manarino yells out of the cockpit of the Trans Am, have I made my first final? The answer is yes, with identical elapsed times. Both cars, 8:57 for both drivers. Let's see if we can get a look at this smiling face from Michigan.
Smiling face? All right.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much. First time we come this far.
Iaconio is such a driver, but you appear to maybe about driven him up there.
Hey, I can be with the best of them.
All right, now what?
Line it up, that's all.
Yeah, but we're still a tenth away from Glidden. What do we do now? Can we find a tenth somewhere in this baby?
I wish I could. If you got any suggestions, I'm listening. I'm listening. We picked it up a 10 from the last one. We had a 66. You said we had a 57, 900s. We need another 900s or
All right,
more.
well, I'm not going to hold you up. Get back to the pits and see if you can find 1/10 of a second, because you may need it up against Bob Glidden in the final round of the Cajuns. That's a happy man. Andy Manarino, number 9 in the world last year, looking to move up.
In the finals, it'll be Manarino, his first final going against Bob Glidden, 5 times world champion. Welcome back to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on the banks of the Mississippi River. This is Charlie Jones and Steve Evans. We're here for the Cajun National Drag Races. Top Fuel Division semifinals. It'll be Jody Smart, who beat the fastest qualifier in the quarterfinals. You will recall he lost his left front wheel in that win. He'll be going against the Canadian Terry Kapp, who is currently the reigning U.S. national champion. And earlier, Steve talked with Jody Smart.
You know, all you drivers, you always tell me, oh, I just raced the light, I just raced the clock. You telling me going down that racetrack, you're not glancing over to see where that other car is?
Well, if he's out front, you know where he's at, but hopefully he's not going to be out front. I try very hard not to look at the other car, because I found when I first started last year that sometimes it distracted me from where I was shifting the car, and I really do try my best to just obliviate the other lane.
Jody Smart will be in the near lane. Terry Kapp will be in the far lane.
If Terry Kapp can beat Jody Smart, it'll be his 3rd final round appearance on the circuit this year, and it's a great start by both drivers.
Terry Kapp, far lane with the early lead. Smart chasing him, but Terry Kapp holds him off, and it will be the Canadian moving into the finals here today. And the key to this race could have been the fact that Jody Smart used a bit too much nitro. The results, you see it on the left. Too much horsepower for this drag strip.